Feeling lost in the maze of CPS? Desperate to get your child back? You're not alone. Countless parents face the heart-wrenching reality of family separation. The legal system can be overwhelming, but there's hope.
Now, here's the key. Okay, that's how you win a 6-month hearing.
Thank you.
If you do all of those things, you're going to blow your social worker's mind, you're going to blow your attorney's mind, and you're going to blow away the judge.
With attorney Vincent W. Davis, a dedicated legal expert with 39 years of experience, committed to helping families like yours. Join his weekly live Q&A on Zoom, where you can ask your burning questions about CPS cases. Get the knowledge and strategies you need to fight for your child's return.
Alrighty, good evening everyone. This is a question and answer session.
Are you ready to take control of your family's future? Participate as a one-time guest. Don't let fear hold you back. Take the first step towards reuniting your family. Join us now.
Good morning and welcome. Welcome to my podcast, Fight CPS, with your host, Bob Pace. It's a warm welcome, and I know that it's very difficult right now. CPS, you may have had a bad experience. It seems like the majority of the people that call in here have a terrible experience with CPS. But I'm glad you found me. This, of course, is live around the world, and I'm here not as a lawyer. I'm not as a lawyer, but a loving father, a dad, a husband, who also has experience fighting CPS, who's been fighting CPS for 15 years. 5 years from harassment, from false allegations, nothing became of it. Then after the 5th year, they kidnapped my 3 children, took them from their loving mom and dad from a beautiful home in a private neighborhood 1 mile from the beach, where each child had their own bedroom, their own bath, where the home was gorgeous, beautiful. And then in the process of the next 3 years, they made my whole family like hell. They abused them in foster care. They lied. They were not honest. It's all about money. All this information I found out later. I lost my home because of CPS. I lost one of my 6 children because of CPS. And this is all firsthand information. Now, I want to welcome Betty Jo from Montana, who's a foster mother, who also is trying to get her brother's child, her niece, to be transported from Nebraska to Montana, where she is living with her brother. And unfortunately, her brother had a girlfriend. They had a child, but the mother was deemed unfit, and the brother moved back to be with his sister, and her sister is so gracious to take him in. She's taken in other kids. She is a true foster parent. Several weeks ago, a very tragic thing happened in Montana. A mother and father were killed in a car accident and left a small child, a 4-year-old. And Betty Jo has taken that child in and temporarily taken care of him until one of the family members adopt him. So that is some good news. But I really appreciate, Betty. Did I say it right? Yeah, with ICPC, the Interstate Compacted. I always forget what it stands for, but it's a government agency anyway. It safely transfers a child from state to state. All the states have made agreement with the ICPC, and it's for the purpose of making sure the child is safely transported. It's a temporary housing from one state to another state. Hopefully, I'm saying that right. But I'm so glad to see you, Betty Joe. You're I disappear. I thought my computer was fixed. I put some additional fans on my computer. It seems to make all the other things go, but that I still wonder if there's some type of little secret virus in there. I found one, by the way. Well, I came back. That is weird. Some little buggerooer. Anyway, I'm trying to be in good spirits. I've had a rough couple days with my family. I don't know when my picture goes, do you still hear me, Betty Joe? Picture goes, do you still hear me? And I don't know why it's doing that. Let me hit escape. Make sure I stay there. It almost knows that it wants to do that. I don't know why. When my picture goes, does my voice still carry on, Betty? Can you hear my voice? When my picture goes. Does it keep doing this over? I'll leave my cursor at the top of the screen there. Maybe that is it. But I don't know how I can scroll. Well, I can scroll with the arrow down, I think. Anyway, I was trying to find out, Betty, if when the picture is moved from the screen, do I disappear? Now, what I'm doing right, oh my goodness gracious, all these people came in. Hello, Enola Rose. Geez, I thought I just had Betty there. And thank you, Betty, for telling me that when my picture removes, but to stay in there. Anyway, welcome, Enola Rose Williams. I don't know where you're from, but it'd be nice if you'd share your location. And Keisha Cloud, the International Collegiate Programming. Nope, that's not what IPC is, Keisha. That's the other organization. The ICPC is the Interstate Compact. I think I have it up here. It's called the, oh boy, I thought for sure. It's the Interstate, oh, come on. The Interstate Compact on the Placement of Children. That's what the ICPC does. It's the Interstate Compact on Placement of Children, a law that protects children who are placed across state lines for adoption, foster care, or other reasons. The IPC is a contract between the 50 states, the District of Columbia, and the U.S. Virgin Islands. It's to ensure that children receive the same protection and services they would have in their home state. Okay, so that's what it does. So let me come back to the show here. Okay. Yes, I have a phone plugged in nearby. I have my phone, my cell phone. Keisha. Hello again, Williams. I'm from Austin, Indiana. Well, pleasure to meet you. And also tell me about your case, Enola Rose. Deatlight Better Pen. You've been on before. Keisha Close from Utah. What part of Utah, Keisha? So far we have Montana and we have Indiana and we have Utah and D-Light Better Pen. You've been on before. I don't remember where. And Keisha says the placement for children. Yes. Interstate compacted placement of children. Keisha says, my kids just got placed in Montana with my sister. Oh, so what state were you in originally, Keisha? Chloe, what state were you in? Oh, you're from Utah. So your kids were taken from Utah to Montana. Did you use the ICPC? I want to know how that worked. Well, welcome you all. You now are part of family here. And I'm glad that you are. I'm glad that you're here. Layton. Okay. You're from Layton, Utah. All right. And to be honest with you, I've had several people from Utah, but nobody from Layton. And a Rose from Austin, Indiana. And somewhere in Utah is Layton. Okay, I got that. What part of Montana, Betty Joe's asking? Yeah, what part of Montana? Anyway, I've put a second way you can interact with my podcast. The first way you found this room is found on Facebook, Fight CPS Bob Pace. I have 7 Facebook rooms and 1 YouTube, and they all channel all the questions in here. So whether you're in Mrs. G's room or you're in Vincent Davis' room, it all comes into here. And all I ask you is when you can do emojis in here, like happy faces, smiles, hearts, thumbs up, even send me stars. And please check below to follow me. And you will be notified when I'm on. Please check the notification button. And I'm so happy that you found me, because I want to share with you about my CPS case, because what I know now would have helped me when at the time I had my case. That was the sad part about my case. There's a lot of things about my case that I wish I'd known. Billings. Okay, Billings. See, Keisha's Billings, Utah. Okay. Oh, no, Billings, Montana. Keisha's talking about Billings, Montana is where her child was taken to. My 15-year-old girl and my autistic 10-year-old boy. You have a special needs child, that's more money for CPS. That's why they're doing it. That's why they're in their hands as CPS. Because special needs children get twice as much. So in my case, in my Orange County, the Orange County in California CPS system was paying $20,000 per child. They had 3 of my children, and that was $60,000 a month they had until my children returned, and that was 3 years later. And on top of that, if the special needs, they would get $40,000 per child. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous what CPS does. They're a rogue gone bad. Not all CPS is bad, but a lot of them are there. Now, Betty is asking Keisha, I have friends in Billings that are foster parents. Well, that's good, Betty. Maybe her 2 children, her 10-year-old boy and her 15-year-old daughter, are in good foster care, I hope. My sister actually has them. She is a foster certified. Oh, that's good, Keisha. I'm glad that your children are protected while you're dealing with CPS. I'm glad they're with family. That's always the best. I'm not putting down Betty Jo because she's a good foster mom, but there's a lot of bad foster people, and I hate to generalize or label everybody bad. I agree they don't belong there. But let me tell you something. CPS is corrupt. And if they're in strange foster care, they will be abused. There are horrible things that happen in foster care. I can't go into the details about that because the way the show is structured. There are advertisements on here, certain things you cannot say the details on. And a couple weeks ago, there was a report that something was said that was inappropriate or something. And I always very careful, try not to do anything that would violate YouTube's rules. I know they don't understand your son, but at least it's family. At least it's family, and you have some way of talking to them and stuff. You will get your children back. If your kids love you enough, they will come back. They'll come back. Of course, I was hoping that my 12-year-old would come back, and she's 22 years old, and she was told by the social worker who was doing a retaliation against us parents because we caught her lying on the stand. She committed perjury, which is a civil rights lawsuit set up that we could sue her if I had the money. We could sue her. She encouraged and told our daughter how to get away from her parents. All she had to do was emancipate from her parents. She's 12 years old in the state of California. You can divorce your parents. So she did. She's given the power. You don't understand. Teenagers, when they're given power, sometimes don't think and they abuse it. Even as young adults, I see the same thing happening again. Hi, Cruel. Welcome, Felicia. I'm so glad to see you. Looks like you got your YouTube account back. I'm having a rough morning today. Well, tell me about it, Felicia. I'll try to help you. Cruel's real name is Felicia, and Cruel is a longtime family member here. She knows Betty. Betty knows Cruel. And we have some new people here. We have Keisha. It's so nice to meet Keisha. She's from Utah. We have Anna Rose Williams. And Delight Bergenpen. You know her. Oh, you did come on early, Cruel. I'm so sorry I missed it. You did come on early. My computer's still doing strange things. And really good morning there, Cruel. And you're having a terrible morning. You can share it with us. Okay, D-Light is from Astoria, Oregon. And she said, I was like one a hearing, and I heard them say to my landlords that my daughter would go to Olympia to a family member, but it was their family, not mine, on Interstate Compact. Oh boy. So we have Anona Rose from Indiana, Austin, and we have Delete Betterpin from Oregon, and Keisha from Utah. Um, huh. Huh. Okay. Okay, and O Rose says, I actually called in and spoke with you a few weeks back. My husband actually hollered a few things and tell you he didn't realize that we're actually live. Well, that's okay. If you guys call in and you got a spouse who wants to talk, it's perfectly fine. It's perfectly fine. Cruel, I'd like to know what's so wrong about your morning. Okay. I just haven't known where to start. I have to file a complaint about a court-appointed attorney. I have to request an alternative court-appointed attorney. I'm trying to get my house back after being something. Let me see further down. After being yellow tagged by LA Code. Oh, Cruel was. Wait a minute. You're in Ventura. The fires are happening in LA. Yeah, and remember you said you and your mom were homeless. Now, you say your house is yellow tag. Is that because of the fires? Do you have fires up in Ventura? Okay, Cruel. I'm sorry about your mom. That is tough. Every day, when you guys wake up in the morning, I wake up at 4 a.m. My routine is to walk to the ocean, to greet the ocean, and to talk to God. It's a ritual. I believe there is a creator. That creator is my God. Now, I don't get caught up in all the mysticals of church and so forth. I do read the Bible. I do believe the Bible's great. And I believe that God had the Son, Jesus Christ. And I believe on hearing about the 10 Commandments and following the 10 Commandments that Noah tried to share with everybody. Not Moses, not Noah, I'm sorry. And I do remember that, I don't remember, but I do remember the story about Noah and how he saved the world from the corruption. God had to flood the world back then. And I cannot believe what's going on right now. He doesn't flood them again. Because what happened way back in that time, I didn't know it was that evil or that bad. And It seems with CPS right now, I wish they could flush them out and clean them up. We had a lady, Schaefer, a senator from Georgia. I think her name was Nancy Schaefer. She was my age. She's in her 70s. Anyway, she was murdered. But they say that she committed suicide. I don't believe that. She was on a hot trail of fighting CPS. And one of the reasons why I'm having trouble with my computer is someone doesn't like me what to say about CPS. I'm not saying that the child protection systems are bad everywhere. I'm not saying all child protections are bad. But over 900 people, including myself, have experienced bad experiences with CPS. Now, when I refer to CPS, I'm talking about the child protection systems in every county and every state and every country. Because this podcast is worldwide. I have 21 countries that have come in to participate. I have Indonesia, was just recently a couple weeks ago. I have Bangladesh in India. Then in the Middle East, I have Saudi Arabia and Libya. Then down to Africa, I've had Liberia, and just recently Sudan. Sudan is the most recent country. And then Rwanda in the Central East Africa near Lake Victoria. Then Mozambique across from Madagascar. And then the South African 4 provinces have talked to me. One is even called country code 27. It's their nickel. They call in from long distance and talk to me for hours. I can't imagine what the bill would be. Probably it's $400 if it's $4 a minute. You talk for, see, that's $240. It's probably $240. That's a lot of money. But everybody in the world, I want to help. I can't. All I can do is share what worked for me and what you all have presented to me and your experiences. It's really important life skills are. And one thing they do not teach you is how to fight CPS or how CPS works. I try to explain it, that it's a government part of social services. And they have social workers supposed to be trained to how to investigate child abuse or child neglect. That's what the agency is noted for. And child abuse, there are records going back to 1600 in our country. Go on forever. There's cases and stuff. And it all started with the societies that are trying to protect our children. Now, McDillon Terry, I remember you from last night. You were on last night, Terry. Welcome back. And Keisha says her 2 children, her 10-year-old and 50-year-old, were ripped away September 5th. Why'd they take your 2 children, especially as old as they are? And Cruel says she hasn't seen her baby since September. And I know that's so bad, Cruel. And I'm glad you're here. Oh, the home was tagged yellow by her mom's POA, not mind her financial well-being. He let her utilities go by the wayside. Absolutely no utilities in the home. Oh boy, that's terrible. I'm so sorry to hear that. Now, Keisha says her case is a mess, and they kept my kids with me to last 4 months. Took my kids night before my son's birthday, too. How cruel is that? How cruel is that? Keisha says if anyone ends up getting public petition, make sure they know what they're doing and they have handled a CPS case before yours. My kids got ripped away. Ugh, that's terrible, Cruel says. Amen. Now here's Terry McWilliams, or McWilliams Terry. And I forgot where you're from, but he's been on a lot. I'm doing a situation with 3 of my young ones being taken from me and parental rights. They were taken from their father and his girlfriend, not me. So the parental rights were taken from the biological father and his girlfriend. Well, I didn't know the girlfriend would have parental rights anyway. Terry McWilliams said, I did everything I wanted me to do under the sun, and now they want me to take my children away. I've been blind within the last year. Absolutely no criminal record whatsoever. You know, it's a bad case of CPS. But what disturbs me, 99% of over the 900 people I've talked to tell me the same thing, that CPS is corrupt. So I don't understand. That many agencies, over 900 CPS agencies, are corrupt. That's a lot of people. And Terry is really frustrated because she did everything under the sun, and they still want to take her children away. Now, Cruel says that her children are with her dad and stepmother. We continue to participate in antagonism to social workers. Well, is your dad with you? I mean, is your dad going to help you? Or is your dad trying to work to take the children? Because they get money, by the way. All of you have to understand, it's all about money. And so when a foster care, and I'm not saying Betty Jo's one of them, but when they've gone bad or really abusing the children, it's really hard and difficult. I agree. It's really hard and difficult. Terry says, and Terry, I hate to ask you again, but I forgot where you're from. If you could tell me. CPS are lies and something has to be done. We need to stop shoving it underneath the rug, because the reality is they're just as corrupt as our government right now is. Well, I hope that Elon Musk will look at CPS. He's trying, there's a lot of mixed feelings about Elon Musk. He seems to be a brilliant man because he's the richest man on earth. Anybody that amasses that much wealth, that's sent a car into outer space that, is perfectly intact, orbiting the earth, that builds these monster rockets that take off and land, the reusable rockets, that's come up with all these electric cars, some are very futuristic. He's now been entrusted by Trump to be a nonpartisan and to find the corruption and the waste of government spending. And one of the waste of government spending is with CPS. It's $1 trillion business, and they need to be investigated. Their money goes from the federal government to the state unmonitored, unaccountable. And then from the state, it's dispersed in large amounts to the counties. They use that money for their own bonuses and so forth. It's sad, but it filters down where they abuse and Terry says, I don't know how these social workers, most of them don't even have children, and they have the audacity to judge parents who have children. I agree. My social worker was in her 20s. She was not married. She never had a family. She didn't even finish high school. Not only social workers, they need to be educated. They need to have a college degree in the area of social work. They should have a secondary degree, a minor in clinical psychiatry, because those two go hand in hand. And they should have a master. You know, we need experienced social workers, and they're paid good money. They're paid really good money, and a lot of times they're given bonuses too. So I agree with you, Terry. Now, Cruel says childbirth twice in about a year and a half, and all of a sudden, I'm not a mom anymore. I know what that. It is hard. It is hard. Your babies are so young, Cruel. They need to come back. They need to come back. Keisha says, fight that Trump is making it a big thing right now, but parental rights, don't let them. You have a month day that's out loud to a judge. You're not okay with that. So wrong. Um, the judges, I agree, are bad too. Now, the judges are elected by the people, elected every 4 years. Our problem is that we don't do a good job electing the right judges in dependency court. We need judges that have experience dealing with juvenile law, family law, and dependency law. Ones that know how families work, ones that, you know, are in it for not themselves, but for um, the people that are going through this mess. You guys will not be calling in here if something tragic did not happen. Now, you may have a boo, but that's all right. They can be made up. You can take parenting classes and programs. But the best parents for children are the biological parents. They are the best. I'm not trying to turn away um, okay, let me see here. Okay, Betty Joe has to clear out of here. Thank you, Betty, and thank you for dropping by. You're more than welcome. Betty from Montana, a foster care mom who loves children, who's trying to get her niece with her, and I hope that still is working out there. Now, Terry says, greetings. Hello. Thank you for having me back. I agree, Terry. I'm glad that you're back here, and greetings to you. Oh boy. I missed some other comments here. I'm trying to stay up with them. Wow. Now, Keisha says her public defender said she can't give me a legal reason why they were taken. You have to understand, when you use public defenders, they are hired by social services. They do nothing more than to sit on the case because the CPS system, the CPS has given a caseload of 30 more clients. They don't have time. Furthermore, they're only trained as criminal law. They're not trained in juvenile law or family law or dependency law. So they're not going to fight for your case. They're overwhelmed right now as it is. And so they're not going to help you get your children back. That's the mentality of court appointed attorney. Now, you can put heat underneath the fire. You can tell your court appointed attorney, if you do not perform, I'm going to sue you for negligence and report you to the Bar Association. Now, what's going to come out of that, I don't know yet because I'm still waiting myself. Okay, we got warm welcome and greetings. Who am I have the pleasure of talking to? I'm sorry, say that again.
It's Felicia.
Oh, hi, Felicia. I have on the phone Felicia from Ventura County, who has a mom, and they were living in a house that got yellow tagged because supposedly the utilities were not on and so forth. And they're struggling. They're homeless. And Felicia's babies that were taken last September were taken from her. And again, what was the reason? Was it neglect or abuse they were taken for?
For I guess neglect, failure to protect.
Okay.
But yeah, and it was at birth. My daughter was taken because I was hospitalized after I contracted severe sepsis from the IV needle that the nurses put in my hand. And I asked them repeatedly, can you guys move this away from my hand, put this IV out of my body, because it's hard for me to use my hands. You know, I'm trying to care for my baby. I'm trying to send these papers. I'm trying to eat, you know, trying to do anything. And they just kept putting more tape around my hands.
Yeah, it's sad because you probably were at the county hospital, low income hospital, and the quality of help there, sadly, is not where it should be. I know my sister who lived up in Ventura County, and they're really
supposed to be decent hospitals. St. John's Regional.
Oh, it is? It's not the county hospital? Well, then I would put in a complaint against the hospital. I would definitely put in a complaint against the hospital, put a complaint into the state against that hospital too. Oh, we lost her. Let me see if I can get her back. We had Felicia there, so. Okay. Let me see if I can get Felicia back here. Whoops. I'm trying to ring Felicia back. I lost the connection. And maybe her phone died. But if you hear me, Felicia.
The subscriber you are trying to reach is not available. Please leave your message after the tone.
Yeah, hi, Felicia. You were talking to me on my live podcast. I lost you. Please call back in. It was a pleasure to hear your voice. Thank you. Okay, that was Felicia. And talking about that her children. Up, here she is. Wow, that was quick. Hello. Oh, shoot. I just get her and it just ends up. Okay, we'll try again. I have a new phone and I think sometimes I do things wrong, so.
Hi, sorry about that.
That's all right. I was trying to answer your call and I wasn't swiping the right way or swiping the wrong way or whatever. This new phone, I've needed a phone. I haven't had a phone for 7 years. And I got one of those phones that are supposedly user friendly. It's the it's a Samsung 24 FE, which is the fan's favorite. Now, I don't know what the E stands for, but the F stands for fans, I guess. But fans, okay, but they should have another F. It should be FF, not FE. No, favorite, yeah, FF, not FE. So I don't understand what the E stands for. But anyway, this phone has been really great because a lot of times you guys couldn't hear me on my old phone. It was causing problems and stuff.
Yeah.
So they got me a phone, and I took one of those deals for $1.99 a month for 3 years to get the phone. So that was really good. And I think Keisha's right. I just noticed something. By putting the phone close to my computer, it may be causing problems. Yeah, that may be part of the problem too.
Okay.
Yeah, you cannot put the phone on your computer. I was putting it on the right side so people can hear you. I don't know. Maybe I should put the phone on my shoulder. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can still hear you.
Great. And maybe the audience can hear you too, because if I put it on my shoulder, it's not near the computer. Maybe that's the problem with my computer jumping around. Oh, boy. I thought it was additional fans and stuff.
Teamwork makes the dream work.
Yeah. But the trouble is, you're not like a parrot. You can dig your claws into my shoulder. I don't know. I try to be. I am silly sometimes here. Yeah, I'm a silly guy sometimes. I try to be informative, and wow, the computer's working better. Maybe that's been the problem. It's a combination of things. Anyway, we have we have you talking about you, and you're down the dumps, and I'm trying to cheer you up. And we have Terry, who is on to me.
I have a question.
Go ahead, shoot away.
So my court-appointed my court-appointed appellate attorney, she waived my rights for the oral argument. Now, can I get back? Because I didn't confirm nor deny. She didn't even bring it up to me that the date for the oral argument was posted. But the same day that it was posted, she also sent in the waiver, I guess, and then the day after, the respondent's attorney also waived, but obviously they're going to waive because that benefits them. But I emailed her and I said, hey, you did this and I didn't want you to do that because I wanted to go and speak to the judges, but now I can't because you went in and made the oral argument.
Have you confronted your court-appointed attorney?
Yes, I emailed her immediately, like the same
And
day.
what did she say?
She said that she believed that the oral argument would be repetitive for the judges to learn about information about the case that they would already have per the case file and everything, or the record for
Right.
the appeal.
And
And I
did
was like,
you
well, that kind of defeats
respond?
the purpose of having.
Right. I was going to say, did you respond back to her explanation?
No, I didn't.
Okay, that was the mistake. Not purposely you did that mistake, but you need to respond back to her and say, no, you're my attorney. I want the oral argument. And she further
Can
refused.
she get that back?
Well, I don't know. But if she further refuses, then what can happen is you can file a complaint and you can sue her for negligence, because the attorney, you didn't hire the attorney, you accepted the court-appointed attorney because of your lack of funds. The only problem using court-appointed attorneys, they work for CPS. They work for the child protection system, and they are paid by the child protection system. And they are new lawyers, and they're only trained in criminal law. They're not trained in juvenile law, family law, dependency law. Those are the areas of law that you all are in. It's 3 areas. A lot of people think, oh, it's just family. No. And it's juvenile, which is a minor, and it's dependency law. Dependency is the court you're in. Dependency court. Sometimes it's called family court. But all 3 areas go hand in hand.
Right when I learned that she was my attorney for the appeal, I had went straight into, doing my research on her and trying to get as much information as I could. I even scoured the appeal website, the Court of Appeals website, for other cases similar to mine. I read so many different cases. I found a few that had started out similar to mine, and then ended up to be in the parents' favor, which is what I'm striving for. And I even gave her those citations and everything. And this was after she had already filed the appellate brief, and prior to her responding, or respondent, and then the appellate respondent brief. But she didn't include any of those citations in her second brief, which whatever, because she had her own to input there, so that's cool. But these ones that I cited were much more recent, like in the 2020s, and I felt like they were more relevant. And obviously, the ones that she included, or the information that she included, didn't. It seemed as though she did put fire under the ass to have a different perspective on the case, but ultimately their attorney pretty much just said, well, I guess I had to read what you said at all, but we're still going to decide this way.
Okay. Now,
and so I just wanted.
How did you?
It doesn't seem
Okay,
like
before you did the appeal, did you have a court-appointed attorney? Why did you not have a court-appointed attorney?
The court-appointed attorney that I had prior to the appeal was a man, and he seemed to have done a pretty decent job. But at the termination of my rights, the hearing where they terminated my rights, I did express to him that I would want to appeal it. So as we walked out of the courtroom, he said, once I file this appeal, I'm no longer your attorney.
Wow.
So I said, well, I didn't know what else to say. So I was like, okay, then, I guess I got to find another one, or another one will be appointed to me. But I think he wasn't up for the work or something. I don't know. But he had just finished telling me about his bout with CPS and how his son was removed, and he ended up having his son and became like single dad for the rest of his son's life, who still lives with him and all this stuff. And so I thought, he must understand to some degree, and maybe did not drop that bomb of discipline on me, at the end of it. Because then I after becoming familiar with him and his guidance being effective, for him to just be like, well, yeah, after I filed the appeal, I'm no longer your attorney. And I didn't know really what to do. The woman who's my attorney now, she sent me a letter in the mail. And the first and the second letter, which was followed by the opening brief, which I've received in the mail as well, I didn't receive all of those pieces of mail until the opening brief was already filed, because I believe the social worker, she kind of misled me here, and correct me if I'm wrong though, when I asked the initial social worker at the beginning of my case, what address should I put down for the court that is my mailing address, because I have a home, I live where I live. I don't live with my dad where my kids are now, and so I said, what would be more logical, to put my mailing address, or for me to put the mailing address that they're sending, which is my dad, but I don't live there. And I think where she misled me is that that's my address as my dad, and I'm not supposed to be there because my kids are there. Then what is that? How do the courts perceive me not having, my own place to stay when I'm trying to get my kids back? So now they think, oh, all my mail is going to. So, like, where the heck is she at?
Yeah.
But I have my own home. But
well, if this appellate attorney,
time,
you need to have more conversation with him. You got to find out why he justified to do what he did, not hear the oral argument. Because attorneys, they charge per the 10th of hour, okay? They don't charge per minute, but they charge by the 10th of an hour. So they're going to get money when they talk to you. So I don't, you yourself, if you're paying them, you're going to be conscious not to do nothing but gab or do stuff that's useless talk. But if it's important enough, which your case is, because the termination of your parental rights, your TPR, termination of parental rights, TPR, is very important to you, and you should, if you think the oral argument will work again. So you need to go back to the attorney and see if you work with him. Now, if he doesn't have a justified reason, or you don't feel comfortable, then you need to tell him, I will sue you for negligence, and I'm going to file a complaint with the state board on attorneys in Sacramento. You're in Ventura County. The state capital is Sacramento. And I guarantee he's going to want to do something, because no one wants to have a complaint against an attorney because it's hard on business. I know Vincent Davis all the time will receive complaints, and it's hard on him. He concerns every complaint that's made, and he'll try to undo or fix whatever the complaint is about. Now, Felicia, have you ever talked to Mr. Davis?
He texted me, I want to say about a month ago. He texted me and he said that he'd be able to help me achieve the results that I want. But of course, after I, cough up the dough, what I explained to him, and who's that, the woman, Georgette? I spoke with Georgette, and I told her that I was trying to, scrape up the funds, but then, now simultaneously my house goes underway, and so pretty much the cost to retain Mr. Davis is like the bill to just make my home livable again is half that.
Yeah, I understand that. And you have your priorities set. But what I'm getting at, did you physically, now, weren't you on my show and then you're eligible for a 15-minute private conference with Mr. Davis?
Yeah, I did. I was on the show, but I assumed that the text was that conversation.
No. You're supposed to have a private confirmation for 15 minutes, because he will share with you. He will share with you the strategies or how to handle your case with your court-appointed attorney. He talked to Betty Jo from Montana, and he told her how she was able to handle her court-appointed attorney. And Mr. Davis did agree with me and said that, you tell the attorney that if you do not perform, I'm going to sue you for negligence, and I'm going to report you to the state capitol, the lawyers board there. I could register a formal complaint. So what I'm getting at is that sometimes they screen the call, but after you end of conversation with Georgette, you should have said to Georgette that I still need to talk to Vincent Davis.
Okay.
See, that was the mistake. And it's not, Georgette means well. She's trying to get the background on the person that Vincent's going to talk to. So Vincent doesn't waste time learning about your background.
Right.
He doesn't want to spend the first 15 minutes of your time talking about your background. Right. So Georgette interviews you and gets the background. But you need to tell Georgette, and if you guys listening, you're set up to talk to Vincent and you get a conversation with a caseworker, make sure you ask that you still want to talk to Vincent Davis. Because my deal is, if you talk on the show or you're a guest on my show, you get a free 15-minute conversation on Zoom with Mr. Davis.
Yeah.
Okay? Now, I'm going to take a moment to catch up. Don't leave. Stand by. I need to address these people in my room that have written me lots of messages, and I've run
for the email from my appointed attorney so I could tell you exactly what she said in response to me asking her.
I need to catch up. I've gone beyond my time here, but I'm going to catch up with everybody. I think somehow I really have messed up with all my messages on there. I thought I was keeping up with them. But Terry was saying, I'm dealing with a situation now with 3 of my young ones being taken from me, and parental rights, they were taken from their father and the girlfriend, not me. I remember that. Terry is a woman, and she's from California. She said she did everything I wanted to under the sun, and now they want to take my children away, and I've become blind within the last year. Absolutely no critical record whatsoever. Are you physically, you can't see, Terry? That's awful. I'm so sorry to hear about that. Now, Cruel, Felicia, who I'm talking on the phone, what's more, my children are with my own dad and stepmother. Now, is your dad and you still have a good relationship?
No. So my parents split up when I was 4.
Okay.
And Ty is my dad. My mom kept us kind of, separated for a majority of the time until I was a teenager and I could make, those decisions on my own. Because once I turned 15 and I got a job, my mom was like, "Okay, you're cool." So, but I found the email from the attorney of her response to me asking why she waived the right for my oral argument. She says, the court can waive if appropriate. The justices have read the briefs, reviewed the record, and discussed the issues presented by the appeal. Since simple repetition of the material in the briefs is not helpful, oral argument can be waived. All counsel have submitted a waiver of oral argument to the court. I will keep you informed of the status.
Okay, so still needs review. What you may want to do is write that question, ask Mr. Davis again. What you're going to do is that you're going to call Mrs. G back and say you still want your 15 minutes with Mr. Davis, your private Zoom. And then you want to ask him that question. if the oral argument is repetitious. You're going to get it from a real attorney who's been doing this for 39 years. So he'll know that. So maybe that will help you, Felicia. Okay. Now,
Yeah, I hope so. I'm sure it will.
yeah, hold on. Don't go anywhere. I'm trying to, somehow my scrolling, and I don't know if it's from my phone. Oh boy. Keisha's the one that came up with that. Of course, Terry says bye. I guess he's leaving. I have the truth is here, and he's been on before. And I'm sorry I got behind on my comments here. And I'm trying to, even though I've gone over by 4 minutes, I'm trying to get through the conversation with people. But my computer is still doing the buggerooer. It isn't with the cursor jumping around. It's now my scrolling. And maybe there's a scrolling button on my computer that I have on or something. Let me see. Maybe I need to turn off that or something, because I'm trying to read.
I can continue where you left off because I have all the comments on my phone.
Yeah, I know that. I'm trying to catch up. Hold on. Okay, this is way too far back here. All right. Enola Rose had said there's so much going on with our case right now, I don't even know where to start. Well, the easy way to do it, Enola Rose, is start from the beginning and work your way forward. And so I didn't answer that question very well. Now, hold on. If anyone ends up getting a public pretender, make sure they know what they're doing and they have handled a CPS case before. Yeah, you don't want a really cold blank public defender. She calls it a pretender, Keisha, and I understand that. You're definitely a smart woman there because you told me about my phone interfering in it. I think I'm caught up now. Not at the end, but I caught up where I'm doing. And I'm with Terry now. I did everything under the sun. They still want me to take I understand that, Terry. It's hard when family members turn against you. That is really hard, or not supportive. My wife's mother and father and her 3 sisters and brothers did everything they could do for 5 years to try to take our children. They were so evil. Now, do you get to see? Do you get to see your children? I'm right now at 10:28. I understand to every parent and beyond what is imaginable to us giving birth and having children, for men to come and take it away. The Most High God has blessed us. Yes, Terry, I understand that, and of course, you said amen, Terry. CPS are liars, and something has to be done. We need to stop shoving it underneath the rug. I remember that, Terry. I don't even know how these social workers, most of them don't even have children. I agree with you, Terry. I answered your comment about mine. And then Cruel said, childbirth twice in about 1.5 years, and all of a sudden I'm not a mom anymore. That's when you had your babies. Keisha says, fight that Trump is making a big thing. Yeah, I know about that. I commented about that. And then I said goodbye to Joe. She's leaving the show. I'll be back later. And then Terry says, greeting. Hello. Thank you for having me back. Okay. And Keisha says, no, my public defender said she can't give me a legal reason why they've taken, and you need to press that.
That's crazy.
That is crazy. And you said file a complaint. I agree. Terry says, oh, somebody who has been 49 years of life, that means he's been 49 years, unfortunately, has a hypertensive, and the department doesn't even submit documents to make. I understand that they don't. They do things they get away with. Cruel says how to take the. I'm still in the process of filing a complaint about my D. Who's the D? Oh, PD. I didn't see the word P. Okay. Now, Terry says, I'm from California, Woodland Hills. That's right. I remember that. They suck so bad about being legal. I agree, Cruel. And then, hello, fellow California. I remember you saying that. Then Terry says, the parents' rights are due taken from both sides. I agree with that. And Keisha says, all they did was change my judges, so replacement judges don't know the story. You got to be careful. You want a judge that knows about reunification, that believes in reunification, family reunification. Now, there's my truth, my life. They've been on before a long time ago. I haven't heard from you in a long time. I agree they're corrupt. This is why I educate myself. I know they get paid to remove children. I'm not one of those who show up at my door. I try to stay educated on this. You're right. You don't allow people to come in your door and stuff. Terry says, do you know the problem is all there is reviewed to the public? The only way you know about CPS is if you're young in the system, and the average individual doesn't really know how to stop. I agree. Cruel says, my dad has played his hand in alienating me from my babies well before my rights were taken. Yes, parents will do alienation, which is illegal. Now, I know a Rose. Oh, shoot, now it started to move. Damn it. I'm sorry. Oops. Excuse me. Where did Anella Rose go to? Oh boy, I had Anella Rose. Oh, when they took my 1-year-old and 4-year-old boys in June, the report said they both looked very happy and healthy. However, now they have put my boy on psych medicines without my consent. You need to fight that, Anella Rose. They need to have, if you have the parental rights, education, medical, or two of them. Now, you say your dad has played this hand allegation for me. Oh, good grief. No, I don't. Okay. But my rights were terminated. Yeah, that was terrible. When they took my 1-year-old, Illinois says, in June, they looked very okay without consent. Then the truth in my life, I always record or tell people to record any interaction with CPS. They won't like it, but if they are in your home, they cannot demand you to do anything, even if they make it that it's got to get in. Well, first of all, true life, my answer is don't answer the door. Don't allow them, don't give them permission. They need a warrant, or there has to be a terrible thing going on. There has to be a terrible thing going on. Terry says, and everything I say.
Yeah, I don't recall.
Go ahead. You don't recall?
Oh, I was going to say I don't recall being asked if the social workers could enter my room. It was kind of like they were just presented to me in my room like, hey, Felicia, here's the social worker who can speak with you.
Well, that is the problem is family members can give permission. So you need to instruct everybody in the family, don't open the door. Don't answer the door. Don't say anything. Keep quiet. Well, how'd they get in the home? How'd they get in the home?
My mom is mentally ill, and so she was not on my side.
Well, I understand that. I understand that. She let them in, though. She gave permission to them. And you need to tell your mom not to do that. Whose home is the home entitled to? Is that your name or your mom's name?
It's my mom's, but she there's kind of no getting through to her. But and also at the time there was no official record or confirmation that she was mentally ill. Now they're leaning towards schizophrenia. So pretty much because of her mental illness not being addressed, my children were taken to the doctor who was proctoring the newborn education materials that we're supposed to watch in the film before going home. He was trying to get through those materials with my mom in the hospital, and I had already been readmitted into telemetry or ICU at that time I was in the ICU.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
he made a note saying, follow up, somebody in CPS follow up on the home because this lady is acting weird.
Yeah.
And,
Understand.
I know that until like months later when I got my medical records.
Okay. And Terry says he can document everything. I believe that. El Rose says that's awful. Terry further says, I understand those psych medicines. You know that they tried to put 2 of my kids' psych words. They're doing it now and completely against it. And then Cruel says, my dad and stepmother think my babies are slow. And yay, okay. Treat them like they're slow. Terry says, you know, it's funny they take children away from parents and they put them in foster homes after foster care homes. You know why? Because they're not trendy. They treating the kids right. Cruel says, I can imagine that all ultimate ended up getting away with slow behavior. Truth and My Life says, I'm actually signing my own twine up for our EP because they have active tendency, but then they're 8-year-old boys. I feel like they will fight against me about the medication thing. Truth says, not necessary, you know. Terry says, I'm from California, Woodland Hills. Okay, I read that. I won't give my babies medication. They're not toys. They're just boys. Terry says, regardless of his money, he is a very brilliant man, but even brilliant men can make mistakes. Keisha says, that was my biggest thing, meds given to my kids. So she snuck around, not telling me about appointments they got away with and what they accuse us of. Emma Rose says, my father and his father have my boys, so that's good at least. However, with the psych meds again, I don't agree that even known about it until he already has been on them for 2 weeks. Terry says it's beautiful with Elon Musk does, but let's not get off the subject. Understand that technology that he's tapped into has been around since before the pyramids were created by the Egyptians. Terry further says, Fiesta, you're absolutely right. I think she meant Fiesta. Who's Fiesta? Yes, they seem to be investigating. Thank you for acknowledging that. Terry says, yes, absolutely right. Sarah's a college degree, man, that would be excellent with some knowledge. And then Cruel says, I'm going to call in now. Okay, I'm sorry I'm so far behind, everybody. This is really the worst time I've ever done this. And Terry says, that's right. It speaks the truth. And Terry says, Mommy, understand, as a mother, I won't hurt, and only mothers can understand that. Yeah, that's true. Terry is a mother, by the way. The first 2 months, who was that? That was at the top there. Oh, geez. I don't know about this phone. I got to figure out, maybe I need to get a speaker that goes from the phone that I can hear there. Oh boy. Yeah, Keisha is saying it was the phone. I just never noticed that because I've been doing it for months. So Terry says, bye, Felicia. I guess he's leaving. Terry says, my year, she had a house in transition, and let's understand possibly. Keisha says, it's a slide by, so really don't see if my time they can take it. They summons it. Hi, Margaret. You're coming in at 19 minutes after the hour. Wow, I've gone over 19 minutes. Oh my goodness, I'm really in trouble now. Margaret, I got to sign off. I'm glad you came in. Margaret's from Missouri. But I want to thank all of you, Terry, Felicia, Margaret, Betty, the Truth Movement, all of you that have called in. Thank you for being part of my family. I'm going to be on again tonight at 7 p.m. So if you didn't get a chance to get your questions answered or you have something more to add, please join me. Please join me. I'd love to have you. A lot of you are regulars. And I'll be on at 7 o'clock Pacific time. That's the West Coast of California. I do my podcast live from my home, 3 blocks from the ocean in Surf City, USA. And so I'd be more than happy to help you all with my knowledge and my 5 rules that I've shared on many shows. If you missed my 5 rules, please review my shows. You'll hear them. You'll hear them when I go over the 5 rules. Get an attorney. Do your documents. Organize it. Say no to social workers. Don't let them in your home. Watch out the medical trafficking. Use the internet wisely. Phrase your words correctly to get your information. And lastly, get a copy of your documents, put them in a folder. Birth certificate, social security, grade room, etc. Those are my 5 rules in a condensed fashion. But anyway, there'll be a brief message from Vincent Davis when I leave here. So I'm going to finish off with Felicia. I'm going to tell the rest of you in this room, God bless you, and please see me tonight. And do not forget to start fighting with your children.
Feeling lost in the maze of CPS? Desperate to get your child back? You're not alone. Countless parents face the heart-wrenching reality of family separation. The legal system can be overwhelming, but there's hope.
Now, here's the key. Okay, that's how you win a 6-month hearing.
Thank you.
If you do all of those things, you're going to blow your social worker's mind, you're going to blow your attorney's mind, and you're going to blow away the judge.
With attorney Vincent W. Davis, a dedicated legal expert with 39 years of experience, committed to helping families like yours. Join his weekly live Q&A on Zoom, where you can ask your burning questions about CPS cases. Get the knowledge and strategies you need to fight for your child's return.
Alrighty, good evening everyone. This is a question and answer session.
Are you ready to take control of your family's future? Participate as a one-time guest. Don't let fear hold you back. Take the first step towards reuniting your family. Join us now.